At the beginning, there are 5 talents to choose from. How would you choose? Talent 1, trash can. Activate this talent to eat and digest anything. Talent 2, urinate against the wind for 10 meters. Allows you to use the restroom 10 meters away. Talent 3, energetic young man. You have an extraordinary talent. Your mental strength is especially strong. Talent 4, soft rice king. All women who meet you have an initial favorability rating of +50. Even men with special preferences are no exception. Talent 5, life is a game. You can see everyone's weaknesses at a glance. Ancient gods descend upon this world. The chosen ones are forced to participate in the game. If you don't obey, you will be erased. A strong man doesn't believe in these ghost stories. As a result, his resistance fails, and he is killed by a rebounding chair. Lin Hao, also a victim, remains extremely calm because he drew all 5 talents at once, although they are very strange. But this is the key to Lin Hao's victory. When the talents turned into golden light and entered Lin Hao's body, suddenly Lin Hao's head buzzed. When Lin Hao came to his senses, Lin Hao saw an attribute column appear on everyone. Their attribute values and weaknesses were clearly recorded on the status screen. Looking at his own attributes, it's simply amazing. Currently, Lin Hao has seen more than a dozen people, and none of them have any talents. It shows how perverted Lin Hao is. Suddenly, a girl caught Lin Hao's attention. From her muscular chest, Lin Hao judged her to be a martial artist. The girl also noticed Lin Hao. Her originally indifferent expression, under the influence of Lin Hao's soft rice king talent, changed from neutral to friendly. She even wanted to team up with Lin Hao. Ignoring the bodyguard's obstruction, she insisted on taking Lin Hao with her. At this moment, the ancient god descended again. Lin Hao was completely dumbfounded. The bodyguard saw Lin Hao staring blankly at the ancient god. He thought Lin Hao was indeed a burden. Little did he know, Lin Hao wasn't scared stiff, but amazed. Life as a game is so powerful that it can see the ancient god's attributes. What surprised Lin Hao even more was that the ancient god was female, because next to her name was not neutral, but friendly. All women have a good impression of Lin Hao. Ancient god Agatha descended once again. She initiated a trial dungeon. She wanted humans to go through a baptism of blood and fire, so they could become her warriors. However, due to her fondness and pity for Lin Hao, she adjusted the rules of the dungeon. Death inside wouldn't be real, but all kinds of sensory feedback would be genuine, so it was possible to die from pain. Finally, she didn't forget to add, "I'm looking forward to some people's performance." When Lin Hao woke up, he was already in the first level of the spider dungeon. The smallest spiders here were as big as a human face. One uncle was the strongest among this group of people. He encouraged everyone. As the top predators, humans have spent billions of years evolving to the top of the food chain. Are we afraid of a few little bugs? As long as we utilize our most potent weapon, intelligence and unity, even if there are hundreds of spiders, so what? Unfortunately, this uncle was male, so Lin Hao's soft rice king skill couldn't take effect. At that moment, a stone tablet rose from the ground. The content on it introduced the mother spider's nest. During the breeding period, the attack power of the spider queen often becomes extremely strong. Please be careful. Note, this dungeon has been specially modified. The monsters have limited intelligence, and they will stop chasing once you leave the alert area. However, the real world is not like this. After reading it, Lin Hao quickly pondered, spiders. The humidity in this cave is indeed quite suitable for insects to survive, and I suspect there might be even bigger and fiercer creatures waiting deeper inside. Theoretically, the best solution here is to enter in small squads, which allows mutual support without making too much noise. However, I look too young, and my appearance doesn't have any persuasive power. They probably won't listen to me. I'd better wait and see how things go. If that ancient god wasn't lying, it wouldn't be bad to be aggressive since we won't actually die. The ancient god noticed that they hadn't made a move yet, so she reminded them if they stayed here for more than a minute, the spider queen would launch an attack on her own. Left with no choice, Lin Hao had to muster the courage to lead the group into the nest. In order to save his life, Lin Hao secretly stayed at the back. The uncle had already planned, as soon as the spider queen attacked, he would immediately betray Lin Hao. Along the way, Lin Hao was walking while touching and observing everything around him. The girl in front of Lin Hao was shivering as she walked. Suddenly, an afterimage appeared. A foot struck the girl's neck, killing her instantly. This sudden scene made us feel chills down our spines. The uncle immediately declared that they should split up and retreat. Lin Hao immediately saw that the uncle was giving blind commands. Splitting up now was undoubtedly equivalent to sending them to their deaths. He quickly tried to stop them, but no one listened. As a result, with this delay, Lin Hao was left all alone. A spider the size of a calf found Lin Hao. Lin Hao knew the situation was dire. Just as Lin Hao prepared to pick up a stone for a desperate fight, Lin Hao's soft rice king skill activated. The juvenile spider queen in front of him looked at Lin Hao affectionately, rubbing her face against Lin Hao's thigh. Lin Hao wanted to take this opportunity to smash the spider with a stone, but in the end, he couldn't bring himself to do it. He felt compassion for the spider. Looking at its flickering little eyes, Lin Hao really couldn't bring himself to do it. Fortunately, Lin Hao didn't make a move, or the consequences would have been severe. With the soft rice king skill, Lin Hao was no longer worried about the little spider and began to study its attributes carefully. Through scientific testing, Lin Hao gained an intuitive understanding of the attribute values. The little one's attribute values were similar to those of Lin Xiaoyan's bodyguard, and its attribute attributes were twice that of Lin Hao. Its strength and agility were indeed 3 times greater than Lin Hao's. If Lin Hao had tried to ambush her at that time, he probably would have been killed instead. However, even with such attributes, it still wasn't enough to kill others instantly. Lin Hao guessed that the element of surprise and killing intent played a significant role, which was precisely the ancient god's intention. Only after going through a baptism of blood could one become a true warrior. At this moment, Lin Hao's highest attribute was his mental attribute, which was influenced by the psychic youth talent. However, Lin Hao didn't know how to use it. He had tried mental attacks, but they had no effect. With the company of the little spider, Lin Hao decided to explore the instance further, hoping to gain some experience along the way. However, he found corpses everywhere and not a single survivor. Lin Hao didn't notice that another little spider had joined them from behind. As Lin Hao delved deeper, he found some spider remains on the way. He guessed that the remaining experts had done this. Sure enough, not far away, he saw a person who had died but managed to take down 2 spiders with him. Lin Hao couldn't help but admire the person's courage. At this moment, a rustling sound came from behind. Lin Hao turned around and broke out in a cold sweat. Hundreds of little spiders were following Lin Hao, pushing him towards the Spider Queen's lair. Upon arriving at the nest, Lin Hao saw a girl. Lin Hao couldn't help but blurt out, "Wow, so big. What a huge treasure chest." She was naturally beautiful, with a protruding front and a raised rear, a slim figure, and attributes that were 4 to 5 times as many as Lin Hao's. Lin Hao stared, dumbfounded. Before Lin Hao could recover, he was offered to the mother by the little spiders. Scared, Lin Hao shivered, thinking, "I treat you like little sisters, but you want me to be your dad?" It is said that female spiders will eat the male spiders to nourish their unborn babies. Just thinking about it is frightening. At this moment, the spider girl slowly approached Lin Hao. Lin Hao's mind raced once again, deploying 300 flirting techniques. But what he got in return was a forceful situation. Lin Hao never thought he would see this day. His chastity, guarded for over 20 years, was about to be taken by a female spider. Just as Lin Hao resigned himself to his fate, who would have thought? The other party just wanted to use her spider silk to make a set of clothes for Lin Hao. For this, her desire was satisfied, and her affection for Lin Hao would never decrease again. She also wanted to give the well-guarded treasure chest to Lin Hao. Lin Hao couldn't wait to receive the reward, but an accident happened. The ancient god's voice resounded in Lin Hao's head. "I didn't expect someone to actually pass the level without killing a single monster and obtain the reward." Lin Hao received the unattainable final reward. Lin Hao impatiently opened the treasure chest, and a sudden burst of golden light blinded Lin Hao's eyes. When the golden light dissipated, it turned out to be a book. As soon as Lin Hao touched it, countless knowledge flooded into Lin Hao's brain. It turned out to be a job change tool book. At this moment, Lin Hao officially became a monster contract master. As the name implies, he could form contracts with monsters and make them serve him. The contract ceremony was not complicated, but his own mental strength had to be higher than the opponent's, and the opponent should not resist in order to succeed. However, what Lin Hao regretted was that the job change tool book only provided a simple introduction to the professional abilities, and not a single word was mentioned about the professional background. The method of forming a monster contract was not difficult, but the challenge lay in the mental strength value. The higher the mental strength, the more advanced monsters one could contract, and the more monsters one could sign. So, should Lin Hao change his job? Lin Hao decisively chose yes. For those little spider monsters, Lin Hao only needed a single thought to form a contract with them. However, what Lin Hao did not expect was that the difficulty of forming a contract with the leader was also simple. Her mental strength was as high as 6, only 2 points less than Lin Hao. Logically, the difficulty for Lin Hao to contract her should be much more challenging than contracting those ordinary spiders with only 2 points of mental strength. It was Lin Hao's soft rice king and spirited youth talents that played a role. After pleading with the ancient god, Lin Hao obtained the permission to take the monsters from this place out of the instance. Lin Hao eagerly initiated the contract ceremony with the girl. After signing the contract, she merged into Lin Hao's shadow. At this moment, Lin Hao could feel her emotions: happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy. As long as Lin Hao had a thought, she would appear and fight valiantly for Lin Hao. With the disappearance of the instance leader, the instance also closed. Everyone was teleported back, and at this moment, each person obtained a system set. Just by silently reciting Ancient God Agatha, one can open their personal exclusive system panel. The number of monsters killed in previous trials is also rewarded in the form of points to everyone. What Lin Hao didn't expect was that after he subdued the boss, his points were only 0, ranking more than 3,000. On the other hand, Mission had 40 points, ranking 1214. What surprised Lin Hao the most was Yun'er's bodyguard, who was actually ranked 10, although their attributes were only slightly higher than Lin Xiaoyun. The gap between them was so huge. Moreover, Lin Xiaoyun seemed to be hesitating to speak, and Lin Hao guessed that the bodyguard must have some ideas. This time, Lin Xiaoyun came to Lin Hao just to bring him along. The bodyguard Wei had recruited many subordinates in the trial instance this time, and she swore to protect Lin Hao's safety, little knowing that she could barely protect herself. Lin Hao saw that Lin Xiaoyun had a kind heart and couldn't bear to see her get hurt, so he decided to go with her. As expected, as soon as Lin Xiaoyun appeared, Wei the bodyguard revealed her true intentions. He was no longer willing to be Lin Xiaoyun's bodyguard. The well-dressed guy, who used supposed to be a lawyer and an upper-class person in the instance ended up begging by his side like a dog. In this world, only strength is the most reliable thing. Lin Xiaoyun immediately criticized Wei the bodyguard. I noticed something was off about you in the instance. To earn more points for yourself, you drove the old, weak, women, and children to lure spiders so that you could personally kill more spiders. At that time, you said it was to perform better, but I didn't agree, and I could only reluctantly accept your approach. But what do you want to do now? Wei the bodyguard replied, of course, it is to use my strength to gain more. A few of them have already pledged their loyalty to follow me. Lin Xiaoyun, be my woman. In the future, we will become the most capable subordinates under the ancient god. With the power demonstrated by the ancient god, we will definitely be able to obtain benefits that were unimaginable before. Lin Xiaoyun cried, brother Wei, I really didn't expect you to suddenly become like this. Do men reveal their true nature once they are no longer bound by rules? We all grew up in a civilized society. Can we really accept the barbaric rule of the survival of the fittest so quickly after just a few hours? Lin Hao held Lin Xiaoyun's hand and said, Sister Lin, it's actually just these few people who are bad. At least I won't become like this. Lin Hao thought to himself, this Wei Kai has indeed become arrogant. I don't know if he had hidden his true intentions well before, or if Lin Xiaoyun was just too trusting of others. Wei the bodyguard then turned his attention to Lin Hao and saw that his points were 0. He said to Lin Hao, loser, you can only rely on pleasing women to get by in society. Civilized society still allows such insignificant creatures like you to have a chance to survive, but not in this world where the strong prey on the weak. Lin Xiaoyun couldn't stand it anymore and began to scold Wei the bodyguard. She wanted to pull Lin Hao away and leave. However, Wei Kai had been coveting Lin Xiaoyun's beauty for years and wouldn't let this opportunity slip away. Although the ancient god had rules forbidding warriors from killing each other, there was no rule against doing indecent things. Moreover, his ranking was 10th, so the ancient god would naturally favor him. Thinking about this, he didn't hesitate to give Lin Hao a powerful kick. Lin Xiaoyun could have escaped, but she couldn't bear to see Lin Hao being tormented, so she stayed. Wei Kai ordered his subordinates to kill Lin Hao. Lin Hao pretended to beg for mercy, trying to give them a chance to redeem themselves, but they didn't appreciate it. At this moment, Lin Hao stopped pretending, forming a summoning gesture with one hand. Instantly, Lin Hao emitted a terrifying aura, and the spider lady, holding a scythe of death, appeared behind him. Everyone present was stunned, some even wetting themselves in fear. They recognized the spider as the one from the instance, and it was even larger than the ones they had seen. They didn't hesitate to turn and run, but Lin Hao had no intention of letting them go. At Lin Hao's command, the spider lady gently swung her scythe, turning the 3 subordinates into ashes. Strangely, the ancient god didn't bring down divine punishment. Wei Kai couldn't understand why the spider monster from the instance would help Lin Hao kill people. Its power was clearly beyond that of a small spider, and he was definitely no match for it. Realizing this, he immediately knelt down and begged for mercy, his demeanor turning obsequious. He asked Lin Hao to let him go as if he were nothing, and then tried to play the sympathy card with Lin Xiaoyun. But Lin Xiaoyun only felt disgusted by him. She mustered all her strength to beat him up brutally. Then she asked Lin Hao how to deal with him. Lin Hao knew that keeping such a despicable person around would pose a hidden danger. Lin Hao definitely won't let him go. The attribute panel clearly stated his harbored resentment. At this moment, Lin Hao finally understood the power of the skill game life. It can actually see through people's hearts. In order to appear weak in front of Lin Xiaoyun, Lin Hao pretended to let him go, but in secret, he had Miss Spider eliminate him. Wei Kai actually thought Lin Hao was really going to let him go. He had already started planning how to retaliate against Lin Hao. Unfortunately, before the plan was even drafted, the Grim Reaper had already raised its scythe. At the brink of death, an ancient god appeared and stopped Lin Hao. Wei Kai escaped death and happily shouted, "Long live the ancient god! I am your most loyal servant." Although the ancient god intervened to test the extent of Soft Rice King's enchantment with the ancient god, Miss Spider's scythe fell once again. Seeing this, the ancient god sternly reiterated the rules. Miss Spider was immediately immobilized. Lin Hao realized this was the ancient god's bottom line. Wei Kai was scared out of his wits. Wei Kai also confirmed the ancient god's attitude. Knowing that Lin Hao had no way to deal with him, he boldly asked the ancient god to punish Lin Hao, excitedly anticipating how Lin Hao would die. However, Lin Hao just told the ancient god that he didn't understand the rules, pointing out that Wei Kai harbored murderous intentions towards Lin Hao. As a result, the ancient god simply let Lin Hao go. Wei Kai couldn't help but suspect that Lin Hao was cheating. He had lost 3 of his own men, yet Lin Hao seemed to have nothing happen to him. He suspected Lin Hao might have something going on with the ancient god. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. He arrogantly accused the ancient god of being unfair. As expected, the ancient god gave him a round of electrotherapy. A tingling pleasure instantly swept through his body. Wei Kai collapsed on the ground, unable to get up. As for Lin Hao, although he had escaped the punishment of death, he couldn't escape the living punishment. The ancient god forcibly sent Lin Hao to an official mission instance. In this instance, death would be permanent and no resurrection would be possible, meaning the true battle was about to begin. In this alternate space, there was no money, only points. Points could be exchanged for equipment, skills, and potions. It would greatly increase the participants' survival rate. Unfortunately, Lin Hao had 0 points. This instance instance was different from the trial instances. Death in the instance would not result in resurrection. As the 3-hour preparation time given by the ancient god was about to end, Lin Hao suddenly thought that Wei Kai might be able to help him. As soon as Wei Kai saw Lin Hao, he didn't even think before getting up to run, but he was stopped by Miss Spider. Relying on the ancient god's rules, Wei Kai still talked tough. Lin Hao ordered Miss Spider to tie him to the wall, but when Lin Hao mentioned that the Spider Mother could turn people into puppets, he immediately backed down. He offered to use some of his points to resolve their feud. Lin Hao bluntly demanded all of his points, but Wei Kai said that taking all his points would be worse than killing him, so Lin Hao compromised and only took 80 points from him. The marketplace was divided into 4 areas: items, equipment, books, and potions. The goods sold were all of white common quality and blue excellent quality. As for higher quality items, they could only be obtained through other means. The 3-hour preparation time was more than enough, and the ancient god provided unlimited item exchanges. Was there a need for such competition? Furthermore, they didn't even know what they would encounter in this exploration. What if they spent their points on useless items? Lin Hao spent 40 points on a children's watch. This watch was no ordinary item. Very few people knew about it. The watch was a temporary shopping assistant for the marketplace, and it could recommend products based on the conditions Lin Hao provided. After purchase, the goods could be retrieved regardless of distance. Although it was temporary and could only be used for 5 exchanges, it should be enough for 1 exploration. This not only saved shopping time, but also allowed for targeted purchases at critical moments. Having acquired the necessary items, the next step was to buy skill books to increase his strength. Unexpectedly, the job change items available were only for warriors, mages, and priests. Although each book was of white quality, they were worth 200 points. This showed how precious monster contract masters were. However, any role had both professional skills and general skills. Professional skills could be activated with skill points, but general skills could only be purchased in the store. With Lin Hao's current wealth, he could only buy white quality general skills. At this point, the best cost-effective choice was the exercise technique. According to the description, once the exercise technique was equipped, it couldn't be removed, and 2 different qualities of the same attribute exercise technique couldn't be equipped simultaneously. Once equipped, the body would automatically start exercising, slowly increasing the selected attribute. Of course, one could also actively exercise to increase the attribute growth speed. The white common quality level 0 exercise technique could increase an attribute by up to 3 points, while the blue excellent quality one could increase it by up to 4 points. Lin Hao decided to focus on increasing his mental strength in the future, because Lin Hao's ability was to control monsters with weaker mental strength than his own, and Lin Hao's soft rice king talent was to charm females stronger than himself. In this way, Lin Hao could have the best of both worlds. Lin Hao first spent 20 points to exchange for a level 0 white quality mental exercise technique. As Lin Hao learned the mental exercise technique, many strange cultivation postures appeared in his mind. He felt his mental strength slowly increasing. Suddenly, a stranger's voice interrupted Lin Hao. It was a bespectacled man who wanted to invite Lin Hao to join his team. Lin Hao wanted to decline the invitation. Suddenly, a shout came from behind the man with glasses. "Let go of that boy. Shin-Chi, can't you see he doesn't want to join your team?" Immediately after, the man with glasses left gracefully. At this moment, Lin Hao's thoughts were, according to the leveling path I've set, my real body is very weak, and the random talents I've acquired are like a player's SSR. I can't expose myself casually. If my teammates are not reliable, then it's over. Lin Hao thanked the man who had just helped him. When he checked the panel, he found out that he was Lu Keki, ranked 5th in points. All his attribute values were greater than 5. Lu Keki explained the reason Shin-Chi came to find Lin Hao earlier was because Shin-Chi was genuinely looking for teammates. Lin Hao, your temporary mobile mall assistant is the best value for money. Compared to those who haven't exchanged anything or exchanged items randomly, you, a young man, definitely have more potential. He sincerely invited Lin Hao to join his team, Lu Wang. This made Lin Hao very conflicted. Should he hold on to such a strong thigh or not? But why would such an amazing person be interested in Lin Hao? After all, Lin Hao looked like a newbie. He promised that as long as Lin Hao joined the team, he would let Lin Hao be an officer. Seeing that he was kind, Lin Hao was indeed tempted. However, the game of life reminded Lin Hao to be careful. He had a feeling of same-sex repulsion towards Lin Hao, so Lin Hao tactfully declined his kindness. Just after Lin Hao had left, Wei Kai emerged from the shadows. He didn't want Lin Hao to join the Lu Wang team. Lin Hao's strength would undoubtedly challenge his position. He had just badmouthed Lin Hao to the team captain, and Lu Keki quickly noticed the conflict between them. But he was a very scheming person and good at controlling people's hearts. To appease Wei Kai, he even offered 2 blue equipment pieces. Indeed, Wei Kai felt recognized and discovered the benefits of teamwork, which greatly increased his loyalty. Immediately, Wei Kai's face turned cold. Indeed, as long as you can become the focus of the team's resources, your speed of growth will be much faster than being a lone wolf. Lin Hao is just arrogant because of the spider monster. Once I accumulate enough points to exchange for those amazing items and bypass the spider monster to attack him personally. A gentleman's revenge is not too late even after 10 years.